What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Video Homicide. Welcome back to another channel update. So, first and foremost, if you've been following me on Instagram for the last 3 days, you've been hopefully reading and enjoying High as a Fly, all right, which is my latest comic book I just finished. It's technically my 10th comic that I've completed. And I gotta say, it was a blast drawing, a lot of fucking stippling. I told myself all this stippling was in fact fly shit. Alright, so I had to coat every fucking background with fly shit and ruin my wrist further. But you know what? It was totally worth it because now I've got the complete fucking, comic in my hand. I did it in the same style as, Pawn Shop Funnies and Out on Parole, which are these one panel pages. This one, I think there's 26 pages. And it was so fun making this, and I can't wait to do the sort of like motion comic. I did it for Pawn Shop and for Parole, so can't leave out High as a Fly. Of course, that cover is an homage to the Ralph Steadman cover to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is iconic, monumental, and I think fitting for, this particular story because I've been drawing Filthy Ralph for years now, and I always include these flies all around him, and I was like, what if one of these flies had a personality, you know what I mean? So the High Fly is what I ended up naming him, and I'm like, you know what, the High Fly, great fucking, like, to me, like, when I come up with this, I'm out of my mind fucking stoned myself. So, the High Fly was sort of just like, and then I came up with another name with the help of my dad. He wanted to call it Shitty the Fly. And I said, what about Shitty Le Flea, to make him sort of Francais, French-Canadian, you know what I mean? Which I'm not. I'm Canadian, but I'm not French-Canadian. But like French-Canadian, Shitty Le Flea. So you can call him either or. High Fly, Shitty Le Flea, it's fine. But, this story was sort of inspired with the last comic I did, which was Vomit Coffin. In that story, there's a trip. Okay, a hallucination, but told in 4 different pages. So with this, I wanted to sort of expand on that. So the High Fly ends up being in Doom. He ends up being in Aliens. He ends up being in a carnival and like a few other things. Like, this is not the longest comic, but it's definitely a good starting point for this new character. Because right now, like, under the, the Video Homicide, Filthy Ralph comics, whatever you want to call them, I call them the Filthy Ralph comics. So we've got Filthy Ralph, we've got Little Ricky, we've got Chico, and we've got Shitty Le Flea, the High Fly. Now, the thing is with Chico is, sometimes he's like a Hispanic dude, and sometimes he's like a fucking a demon. So I think this universe I'm creating, Shitty Le Flea could be getting high with these guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's cartoony as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to do is build a universe. And like, sometimes when I'm thinking about the comics or talking about the comics with somebody, I often forget that, like, hey, this motherfucker is not in my brain, and he doesn't have all of these, he doesn't know all this background that only I know, you know what I mean? Because, like, I know where Ralph went to high school and, like, what happened to him in high school and all that shit, his first couple of jobs. Like, that stuff has already been written. It just doesn't exist. So that's the thing. That's the hard part about comics is getting it out of your head and finished in comic form. Because, like I've said before, you can start a comic a fucking million times and not finish one and then be disappointed. If you feel like your shit sucks, just take a look at my very first comic and now look at, my last couple of comics. Your style you'll find your style, and your shit will improve accordingly. You know what I mean? The more time you plug into this craft, the better your shit's going to be. And my recommendation to people that want to make a comic is, don't compare yourself to anyone else's shit and just do it. And fucking, by God, finish it, man. Because finishing it is the hardest part. And when you're given an opportunity, like going to a zine fair, going to a comic art fest, or anything like that, take advantage of that. Because that's at least You know, if your goal is to get your stuff out there, that's how you do it. If your goal is to just make it and fucking put it on the shelf, then that's what that is. But I mean, if you actually want to get out there, you know, make your shit, finish it, and you know, sell your shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the one that has to sell the stuff. You go to a comic fair or zine fair or whatever the fuck, you know, that's your job. So if you don't sell shit, that's you know, you need to take some responsibility. Stand up, talk to every motherfucker, look them in the eye. I feel like that's a problem a lot of people have, especially the last event I went to. A lot of young people came through, and no disrespect to the youngins of this motherfucking of this world, but the lack of eye contact, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't get it. But we were all raised different. I was born in 92, so that's sort of my, you know, how I judge shit. Like I feel like we were the last group of, you know, the last generation where motherfuckers had at least some type of people skill. You could be socially awkward, whatever, but the least you can do is you know, look through, you know, look into the person, not into their fucking, the depth of their soul, but I mean, like, look at a motherfucker when you're talking to them. You know, if you're fucking talking and you're just bullshitting and you're on the couch or whatever, you don't need to be like staring at a motherfucker, obviously, but I mean, in a situation where like it's time to sell your shit, do your best. I'm stoned right now and I'm fucking giving advice on bullshit, but what the fuck do I know? Anyways, to sort of continue the discussion, I gotta see what I got for time. I still got 13 minutes. We're fucking good. This is sort of a monumental day for me, okay? And what I mean by that is I got my comic into a comic store for sale. Like, they're selling my shit at my childhood comic store. I've mentioned it a million times, Heroes. I went in there the day, there was this toy fucking fair uptown. It was actually on Easter, because I had the day off, and me and my brother went to this toy show that was on the holiday. And it was bullshit. All it was fucking Pokemon cards, and all it was motherfuckers like just clogging up the lanes and stuff. Like, that was the only cool thing I seen there. I bought, because I was like, I spent $5 to get in here. I at least want something. I got an unopened pack of Garbage Pail Kids from Series 10, and this unopened pack of these cards called Weirdos, which these are actually from 2017, but they're in a wax pack. So that was the only good thing. Everything else was bullshit. So I knew Heroes was open because I seen they posted, hey, we're going to be fucking open. So me and my brother went into Heroes, and beside them there's this place called Villains. I've mentioned that place as well. That's where I got that stack of humor magazines recently. It was actually that day. But I brought some of my comics to that toy show because I was going to like just hand them out to people. But like there was not a single soul in there that I thought would even appreciate it. Maybe if I like fucking like held it in the air and said, hey, does anybody want a free comic book? It's not fucking Spider-Man. It's homemade from right here in London, Ontario. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not giving any of these fucking cocksuckers any of my shit. So go to the comic shop, Heroes, and I see the owner there. And I was like, hey man, I fucking made a comic. Check it out. Here you go. So I hand him a copy of Vomit Cough, and he's like, this is fucking cool, man. If you want to sell this here, like, fucking go, you can, whatever, consignment, whatever the fuck. And I was like, dude, I'll totally take you up on that, and I'll bring some comics by fucking next Friday or whatever. So, you know what I think what happened was that zine fair was in between, so I didn't know how much I was gonna sell there. So it was the weekend after. So last Friday, I took a fucking 15 comics, 5 Vomit, 5 Beavis and Butthead meets Filthy Ralph, and 5 Blood Drunk. And he said he'll put them on the wall on Wednesday. So they're on the fucking wall on Wednesday, okay? Right there with the Marvel, right there with the DC, the Spawn, the Wolverine. And there's more of a story to this, but I'm saving the whole story for Saturday, because I'm going live on YouTube with Sawblade 666. We're gonna do another, you know, talk fucking shop, talk comic making, talk art, all that shit. So stay tuned for that. But you know, they're on the wall, and it's like I've said before, it's my childhood comic shop, right? So it's it's a big deal to me because I went there when I was a kid at the other location when they were across the street. Used to go there all the fucking time. Me and my buddy Kyle would go there, buy Topps Total basketball cards. I think it was like 2003 is when we were fucking going nuts buying all these basketball cards and shit. But I was slowly getting into comics, getting into all this other stuff. And, you know, the kid in me would think it was so fucking cool that I got a comic in there for sale. You know what I mean? So it's part of healing the inner child, whatever, man, however you want to call it. It's very, I feel good right now because like my shit's out there, and it was out there before, but like now it's in a place where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in a comic shop. You know what I'm saying? So it means a lot, and I gotta say, like, I'm gonna do my best to keep my shit stocked there. I didn't bring everything. I didn't bring like the really, you know, like Filthy Ralph 1 isn't there because, like, again, I mentioned earlier, like the art is very, you know, crap compared to now, especially, but it's also very sort of, you know, it's I feel different now than I did when I made that comic, because it's sort of like it was supposed to really be like an inside joke between like me, my brother, and my friend Mike. But it's like, you know, I fucking printed 1,000 copies, and, you know, they're all over the goddamn place now. So I don't know. I want to keep the stuff that I think is the best in a shop. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna I got 10 comics now. I'm not like, I think maybe 4 of them are worthy to be like on the wall for sale, because I've got some comics I made that are only like really 8 pages, you know. So unless I put those into a compilation, that's the, you know, I wouldn't try to sell that there. So like I said, we got Beavis and Butthead meets Filthy Ralph, Vomit, and Blood Drunk. So I think that's a good lineup. If you're in the area, London, Ontario, you can get my shit at Heroes Comics and Collectibles downtown. Much love to you know, to everyone that's sort of been on this journey of like comics creation, because I feel like it's only really just started at this point. And like even now with like High as a Fly, when I look at that compared to the first, like the Pawn Shop Funnies, which was done in the same format, but now the style is so much different, you know. And I'm sort of inspired to make another sort of horror parody. Like when I talk about Vomit Coffin, I say it's like Cheech and Chong meets Evil Dead. So it's like my Evil Dead parody. The next sort of horror parody in that vein I want to do is Dawn of the Dead. So I've been thinking about how I'm going to do this, like very, you know, condense my favorite parts of the film into like a 36-page comic. And that's going to be my next sort of big project. The Rotten Revolver, I still have that on the back burner, and I'm going to start working on pages of that. It's just, I think I'm going to redo what I've done, which is only 1 page, but do it at a smaller format, because as it stands, it's like, it's at least 8 by 10. At the very minimum, it's 8 by 10, or 8.5 by 11, whatever. But, you know, I need to condense that down, because it's too much for me to work on, because like I dread doing all those dots, like all the stippling, and I want there to be stippling in that. But when it comes to that much space, like I learned my lesson on that Blood Drunk comic, dude. Like honestly, my wrist hurt like a mother. Even when I was doing this High as a Fly, like there was, like, if anyone that does stippling, like they know, like what you get to a point where you're like, okay, I gotta fucking stop this, because, or I'm gonna literally stab someone in the fucking soul. So, you know, the other thing that I want to do is, I've been thinking about sort of having a name for the comic, like my comics self-publication company, whatever the fuck, you know, the self-publication company, whatever the fuck you call that. So I've done a little bit of research, but not too much. But I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about something that has to do with the word, like the word dime bag will be included, I'm thinking. you know, because like, don't get me wrong, I like the Video Homicide and stuff, but I really do want to have like its own entity. Do you know what I mean? Because I actually want to like do a fucking, I want to get like a business account at a bank and stuff. Like I want to do this legit. You know what I mean? I don't want any fucking tax cocksuckers coming up to me when I'm like later on in life or whatever. So I want to do everything as legit as I can, but you know, that's basically it for the comics thing. And like all my other art that I've been planning on making, these drawings and shit, it's like, yeah, I still want to do that. It's just the comic is like calling me right now, dude, and I just want to like draw comics, like, you know. And honestly, like right now, like what do we got, like 4 minutes left. So my wife comes back on Saturday, so she's been gone since Sunday, coming back this Saturday, and at 12 Eastern Standard Time, I will be going live with Sawblade. And last time we went like nearly 3 hours, so I anticipate that again. So it'll probably go to like 3 at the latest, because I have to drive nearly an hour to pick her up. You know what I mean? So definitely come by on Saturday if you can. If you got any questions, ask them in the comments. I'm probably going to be doing the live stream off my phone again, because it's sort of like last time me and Saw, we had like a bit of a fucking problem getting him on Melon, and I stopped paying for that because I was paying $9 a month for that, and I might have used it like once a month. I'm like, dude, this is not worth it, you know. Plus the reason I got it, the reason I had the paid account, was so I could get other motherfuckers to come on the show. But you know, I haven't really done that in a while, but I want to sort of start doing that again, but like talking to artists. So I'm going to reach out to some of my Cinema 187 homies and stuff like that, and see if we can get some you know, pre-recorded or live shows done, because it's fun to talk about this shit, especially to people that make stuff. So like that, me and Sawblade were talking earlier, and he was like, yeah, it's cool to be able to shoot the shit about this stuff. You know what I mean? We haven't really done that since that last live show, so looking forward to that. If anybody wants to buy any of the zines, the comics, anything like that, well, right now all I have what I have. I got like some issues of Cinema 187 1, 2, 3, and 6. I've got I have a few sets of all the Filthy Ralph comics, which is now 10. So you can pick those up. These are all sort of charged. They all cost a different amount if you buy a set versus a single issue, so far and so forth. Go on the link tree in the description of this video. You can find my email address on the website, how to order tab, and just shoot me an email and we'll work something out, okay? With that being said, leave a 666 in the comments, and adios. Oh yeah, okay, so this is totally fucking random, and anyone that sees this, you're gonna be like, dude, this guy's out of his fucking mind. So I'm sitting here, and I put on my old vest, and I was like, hey, fucking, this old vest is size 6X. You know, this jacket I'm wearing is a 2X. So I like realized I looked like, it just looked like really fucked up. So I put this jacket on, and I looked for a second, and I was like, whose outfit is this? Is this Alonzo's fucking outfit from training day? And then like I was walking out into the kitchen before I started recording, and I was like, what the fuck, what's the line? He goes, you motherfuckers will be playing basketball on Pelican's Bay, you know, or when I'm done with you, whatever the fuck he says. And I was like, I should start the video with that. And no, fuck no. So I ended the video with that. Whatever. 666, adios. Take care. You know, you know, in the words of Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other.